Welcome back to Central Valley Talk, where we celebrate what's good about Fresno. Not just Fresno, but the whole Central Valley. Well, that's why it's called Central Valley Talk. When we find somebody who's doing something good in our community, we want to bring them on the show and spotlight them so you know what they're doing as well. Our next guest has quite a story, and she's doing something extraordinary. Cheryl Wells. Welcome, Cheryl Wells.
Thank you, Mike.
You're president of Rancho de Rodney.
Yes.
You know, when I saw that come through a couple months ago, I'm with Rancho de Rodney. Do you want us on your show? I thought, if it's called Rancho de Rodney, yes, because it's just a fascinating title. But tell us what you are and what you do.
Rancho de Rodney started out as a certified organic farm during the Great Recession when my husband couldn't find a job and couldn't stand to not be busy. We got the name, a friend of his at the market, one of our farmers markets, said, "Oh, Rancho de mi amigo Rodney," and we cut it a little shorter.
And by the way, I remember that's in about 2008, 2009 in there.
Yeah, I think a little bit after.
Yeah. And it was a mess. There wasn't a lot of work out there.
Yeah.
And you guys said you had some land.
We had 4 acres, and we didn't have it all under cultivation, but we started selling at farmers markets.
By the way, here's your husband.
Yes.
Your late husband, we should say.
Yes.
And he went out and farmed.
He did. His dad was from Oklahoma. His mother was from Kansas. I'm from Kansas. His dad used to grow things in the backyard, and we met another black submariner, which my husband was chief of the boat of the USS Pokey, and he was head of the African American Farmers of California. And we joined that organization. Then they taught us, because we were not too bright. We started out as organic farmers with every single weed intact.
Intact. Now, you were a lawyer.
Yes.
There's not a lot of gardening training when you're in law school.
I always grew things because that's what my family did. So I always had like a kitchen garden type thing. And so when we started this, I would come up with ideas I thought, well, if we're going to be at a farmer's market, let's have something that's different. So we featured a very wide array of herbs and heirloom tomatoes because I knew people love real tomatoes.
Real tomatoes,
And I found out in the valley they are quite connoisseurs
we love our
of
tomatoes.
agricultural products.
I do not buy a tomato in the grocery store anymore.
No.
I've had it, Here is some of your, so.
Oh, yeah.
That's
our tomatoes.
That's your tomatoes. So, but see how they're cracked and they're colorful and so that's okay. That's how I like them. They're beautiful. I call them beautiful. Here's some of your stuff.
Well, the store ones are made now to travel and be harvested mechanically. So, yeah, you're getting a tough product, but that's not really what you want for eating.
No. We want flavor. Some of these things.
We switched to a nonprofit model after my husband died. And that was a picture we were teaching up at Happy Goat Farm in Mariposa. And teaching the kids about, it's called, See, Smell, and Taste. So I took them like some fresh rhubarb with the big leaf on the end because they hadn't seen that. And then they got to eat a little strawberry rhubarb jam.
Nice. Now, I'm surprised to see some of these things. I didn't know you could grow some of these around here.
The asparagus is doing really well. We got 160 pounds last year.
Wow. And
we're just starting asparagus harvest right now, and artichokes. And those are not things that people are used to getting in, freebies.
Right.
And that's one of the things that we loved about it is people were getting the good stuff, and it was really fresh. We don't, sometimes you get the donations from the stores. They're not so great.
Right, not so great.
Now, and we expanded into canning. I became a UC Master Food Preserver year before last because my grandparents did that, and so we can donate those. We use science-tested recipes, and those are some of my friends from Mariposa. Master Gardener, Master Food Preserver, they come down and pick and bring things up to the senior center, bring produce up to the senior center in Mariposa to help take care of the folks up there.
And you're not selling anything now?
No.
You give it all away?
Yes.
At this point. Tell us about this picture.
That is Rodney at his retirement ceremony.
And where was that?
That was in San Diego. The gentleman in the black suit was his friend in boot camp and on his first ship.
Wow.
I know.
They stuck together that long.
Yeah.
And, of course, here's Rodney.
Yeah.
Now, by the way, you have a Master Gardener's vest.
I do.
And a Master, what did you say, canner?
Master Food Preserver.
Preserver.
Because we also dehydrate, we ferment.
There's more ways to preserve than canning and drying.
Yeah, and one of the fun things we started doing this year with Rancho de Rodney is teaching folks who are on CalFresh how to stretch your food dollar, like how to keep things fresher for longer.
Yeah.
And then we taught about fermenting And because if you like sauerkraut and stuff, that will last a year in your fridge.
In your fridge,
Yes.
without canning it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that if you don't have to buy canning equipment. So we were teaching ways to preserve without having all the fancy equipment. Like if you have a straw in a plastic bag, if you suck all the air out of it and seal it, it will last a lot longer in your freezer and you won't get freezer burn.
I see. Okay.
So we have an
I'm already learning
educational
stuff
arm
myself.
too.
Yeah, I live alone, so I have a lot of wasted food.
Right.
You get started ambitious, and all of a sudden, it's no good.
Yeah.
anymore. So I need to suck that air out when I put it in the freezer. And
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It works quite well.
Now, you and your husband started this, and tell us the story about where you started, ended up on Huntington, and back to where you are now.
Well, we had Icky Wood's grandmother's old place over on Church. And then we got jobs in Monterey. My husband had a service-connected lung condition from having tuberculosis when he was on submarines. Plus,
you
he
wanted
had the
to get
heart
out
thing.
of this valley
Well,
air?
we thought it would be a good idea, but we went over there, and it's, we were thinking military community because Fort Ord, and
Yeah.
it's not.
Ah.
And they didn't seem to like us too well, so in about 5 months, we turned around, came home.
Came back to Fresno.
But our farm was already in escrow, so
Yeah.
we bought the house on Huntington Boulevard and started growing in the yard there.
Now, this is Fresno's historic Huntington Boulevard.
Yes.
Where you can go at Christmas time and drive up and down the street, and so many big, beautiful houses.
Yeah, and people are starting to really decorate again, too,
Are
which
they?
is fun. They
Yeah.
didn't when we first moved in.
And you got one of those big houses.
Our house is pretty big. Our lot's only a third of an acre, which on Huntington is not.
Not
The house
for
next to
Huntington,
us is.
Bigger than your average
Yeah.
home, but small for Huntington.
Well, we have like 54 raised beds at the house.
54 raised.
And we
beds.
started giving away then, but then we were really getting into it. And so we talked to Will Scott, who's the head of the African American Farmers of California, and we got a plot over at their demonstration site on the south side of Kearney Park.
Okay. And it's there now.
Yes, it is.
And is it called Rancho de Rodney?
Yes,
Okay. Now, how many raised beds you had on Huntington?
54.
I'm just imagining building those.
Rodney did that.
He did that. Yeah.
Yes, he was a machinist mate, so,
He knew how to get those.
and he
things
ran all the
done.
irrigation, and he,
Now, so officially now you are an African American farm side, or
I am a member of the African American Farmers of California.
Okay.
I think I'm the palest one.
okay, but Rancho
But-
de Rodney is a working farm that you
It
do
is.
for what purpose? It's a nonprofit. It tells the purpose and the outcome.
We donate everything that's grown and everything that, we do a lot of canning. And we donate through, we have a Unitarian Church as an Afghan refugee family that the father had helped us, our troops, when we were over there. And through Catholic Worker, which goes all over the city, like trailer parks and Section 8 housing. And also they get calls, people.
Yeah.
And then to go up to Mariposa, I have the connection with the master gardeners up there. They come down and pick it, take it up. And then we were fortunate enough to be able to produce enough to provide food for Lemoore Naval Air Station last Thanksgiving, which I knew was very near and dear to my husband's heart.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the young troops, they're not making so much money, and they started charging them for health insurance in
Yeah,
2017.
they're not going home for Thanksgiving, that's for sure.
No,
Yeah.
no, they are on duty.
Oh, on duty, literally on duty that day. Now, does your nonprofit have an education component?
Yes, we teach. We teach about farming organic. We're going to be getting a family coming out pretty soon. That's going to be on like the little south part of my portion, and then we also the food preservation and just or how to grow stuff healthy. I know I have a program called Seeds to Supper. We're trying to find some place to put that on where grow stuff in your own yard. You're going to get better food, and the price is right.
Yeah, but most of us don't know how. I mean,
Yeah, it's not that complicated, but it's still, maybe you don't know how. It just seems like, what do you do? And like we take what's called lasagna posting, where you just take a part of your yard, put down some cardboard boxes and pile a bunch of stuff on top of it, and then put some dirt, and it'll all break down and kind of keep it warm. And then they'll give something real good for your vegetables to grow in.
that's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice. Now, who can get involved? Are you looking for volunteers? What's going on?
We do get volunteers. It's through, I think it's Hands On California. They can sign up there, and sometimes they call. Sometimes they show up. We had Rabobank, a bunch of bankers came
Yeah.
out. We
Nice.
have some Fresno State students.
Or what can they do? Pull weeds?
They can pull, yes.
Are
Oh,
the
yes,
weeds-
because we do still work. It's not certified organic, but we go by organic methods because
Yeah.
it's healthier.
Now, if somebody goes to the website, we have it on the screen, ranchorodney.org. What will they find there?
They'll find basically a lot about Rodney because that's this thing kind of saved me when my husband passed away because he already had crops in the ground.
Yeah.
And so, very proud of him. And so stuff that he was doing. And then we have kind of a, blog that comes off our Facebook, which is like, here's what we're up to this week.
Mm-hmm.
I know last year we gave away 8,334 pounds of produce.
Wow. That's
So
a
we
lot.
put up there each week what we're giving away and how much.
Nice.
And also if there's some, educational events somebody might be interested in.
They could keep up to that. Yeah, I'd like
Yeah.
to look at that website. I'd like to follow that. I'm going to look at that. And also, a lot of that goes on Facebook also.
Yes.
Yeah. We're almost out of time. What else do you want our viewers to know? You get to say anything here, because I'm always asking you questions. I never let my guests
Well, it used
talk.
to be, people could glean fields around here to get fruit.
At
But
the end
because of liability concerns, that's not true anymore. And we just wanted to see people, we were in a position with retirement to be able to give back, and we just wanted people to have fresh food. Have people have something nice who are not doing too well. It makes them feel better. Yeah.
That's great.
And both of us grew up not rich, for sure. So,
You understand the value of having a fresh vegetable or something like that.
yeah.
that's
And we
great.
tried, like I said, asparagus, in the give-out bag that's been picked within 24 hours.
I just
It
like to
makes
go
me
out there and see
happy.
asparagus growing, which I've never seen, or
Come on.
artichokes growing, which I've never seen. So.
Come on down. The artichokes are taller than me.
Wow.
I know. I didn't know they grew that tall, but then I'm kind of short.
There you go. Thank you, Cheryl, for
Thank
what
you.
do. And I'm glad we got to learn a little about Rancho Rodney. I'm going to put up these pictures again. There's your tomatoes and something.
That's me picking out in the winter. I'm pretty well covered.
That's your winter garden.
Yeah.
And the kids from.
Those are kids at Happy Goat up in Mariposa.
Yeah. And I love this picture right here.
Yeah.
What's the top? Is that cabbage?
Yeah, that's purple cabbage, artichokes, and asparagus. That was, I think that was in December.
And then canning,
Yeah.
which nobody knows how to do anymore except for you guys. So
Well, we like to. So if we have periods where there isn't a lot of produce coming up, we have canned goods now, and I like that.
that's great. Well, thank you for coming. We'll finish with a picture of Rodney here, the namesake for the whole operation. If I can pull it up, there we go. And there's us. Rancho de Rodney. Thank you, Cheryl. I want you to come back again and again. Keep us up to date on this great project.
Thank you so much.
All right. And we'll be back with more cool things from the Central Valley. There's so many going on, like what Cheryl Wells and the whole Rancho de Rodney crew is doing out there. A nonprofit, by the way. And thank you so much for what you do, Cheryl. And we'll be back with more Central Valley Talk right after this.